There are several turf diseases that can be a significant problem in your landscape. Today we're going to talk about 4 of the main diseases that you can experience that are common fungal diseases. So these are all caused by fungi. The diseases we're going to talk about are leaf spot and melting out, Ascochyta leaf blight, dollar spot, and brown patch, all of which can be fairly devastating and significantly affect the aesthetic quality of your lawn. When we look at first leaf spot and melting out, this is a disease that causes small dark spots on several species, virtually all the species of turf that you grow in the landscape. Those dark spots occasionally will be quite severe on individual shoots and blades. We'll see infections on individual tillers that'll kill individual tillers in the turf and result in an overall yellowing or melting out, as we call appearance, in the landscape. The next one we will see is Ascochyta leaf blight. Ascochyta leaf blight has been a problem we've just been experiencing in Nebraska over the last few years. And with this disease, we see it more severe in bluegrass typically. It's a disease that's favored by drought conditions or drought-stressed turf. It's also a disease that looks very devastating, but typically does not do any permanent damage to the turf. It's something that occurs, and within a week we'll see that turf recover in many instances without any treatment. Symptoms of Ascochyta leaf blight are mostly on the tip of the leaf blade. The tip of the leaf blade is where the infection occurs, and that leaf tip will be rolled tightly and almost look like a pin extending out of the end of the turf. And it'll always be damaged from the tip of the blade extending back. Now, dollar spot is a disease that we'll see most commonly on bluegrass lawns. It'll produce small patches or pockets, as the name suggests, the size of a silver dollar. In taller cut turf, these can be larger, extending maybe 6 to 8 inches in diameter. And these will be pockets of turf that will appear bleached out with lesions that are very descriptive or diagnostic. They'll have a cinnamon brown margin on them with a bleached out area in the center. And those lesions will typically go all the way across the leaf blade. The next disease that we'll see in the season, typically in Nebraska, is brown patch. This is a disease that's favored by very warm conditions, and when we have nighttime temperatures around the 75-degree mark is when we'll see this disease start up. This disease mostly affects fescue lawns and is not common on bluegrass. However, in some years when we have very favorable conditions, when we have high humidity and conditions that really favor the disease with high temperatures, we'll see brown patch even in bluegrass lawns. But again, most of the time we'll see it in fescues. This disease is also aggravated by high fertility during the summer months. So as Rock talks to you about not fertilizing the lawn during the summer months, this is one reason not to do it also with brown patch. So let's review some management practices you can use to try to manage these diseases in your landscape. As these are all fungal diseases, they're going to be favored by wet conditions or conditions that favor lengthened periods of dew on the turf. So try to irrigate that turf early in the morning or at a time so you won't extend that dew period. That's going to be one key point. Regarding wetness on the leaf surfaces, try to design your landscape so you have good air circulation. Air circulation is going to be one factor that'll decrease the amount of time of dew on the grass and will favor less disease development. Also, regarding overall management of the turf, avoid fertilizing the turf in the summer months, just as Rock would suggest as far as good turf management, because that's going to favor brown patching, particularly in those fescue lawns. Also, regarding management, thatch buildup can be a significant problem that can add to the potential for disease development. So try to maintain a good thatch control program. And then regarding mowing, try to mow the turf at a taller height in the summer months to reduce stress. Always use a sharp mower blade, because those frayed edges when we use a dull mower blade will really favor particularly Ascochyta leaf blight. And then also, if you need to reseed an area because you've had a disease, thin your lawn out, or you're establishing new turf areas, always use resistant varieties. Resistant varieties are one key management tool that are essential in all landscapes. And then our last resort in our management techniques would be the use of a fungicide. And there are several fungicides on the market that you can use to manage these turf diseases. The diseases that I would particularly pay attention to regarding fungicide use would be brown patch, in those fescue lawns, and dollar spot mostly in the bluegrass lawns, and then the leaf spot or melting out, which we can see in all of our turfs.